Hey guys, what's up? It's Jack and welcome back to another video. And today I want to talk about the increase in price in games over the last, like ever since the Nintendo made the announcement, and well, ever since the Nintendo Direct, to where it was later on revealed that games would cost $80. Obviously, content creators all over the place have been making videos up the wazoo. You got people out there saying, you know, don't buy Nintendo or don't buy the Switch 2, or, you know, Nintendo hates you, blah, blah, blah. And as well as some other things that I'm going to talk about in this video. I can't help but think that gaming overall is headed in a bad direction. But I'm gonna go in depth as to why. Now, first of all, I just want to say right off the fucking bat, I'm just gonna say it now. I do not want games to cost $80. And I'm going to repeat that one more time because I know some of you guys are hard at hearing as well as understanding. For those of you that are going to see this video that may be new around here, I'm going to say it again. I do not want games to cost $80. As a matter of fact, back in the day, I remember back during the mid 90s to when they would create ports of arcade fighting games for home systems like the Super Nintendo or the Sega Genesis. Games like Killer Instinct used to be like $90 back in the mid 90s. I mean, granted, the Rest of Life was a hell of a lot more affordable than it is now, which is definitely a difference maker. But even back then, it's like there were very few amount of kids that would get those games. And I was kind of wondering why that was the case. And lo and behold, I found out so many years later. I mean, because again, my mother, bless her heart, was the one who bought me my games. And, you know, she was amazing for dishing out the $90 to get me Killer Instinct back in the day, because not many kids had that game. I remember kids coming to my house and they were, you know, we would have like sleepovers and stuff like that playing Killer Instinct because I would be the only one that had it. And on top of that, I was one of the first few that had it because I ended up getting the CD with the soundtrack that came with it, which was given to the first 10,000 people that purchased the game. It was either 10 or 20,000. But anyway, back on to the main topic here. There's also a few other content creators out there saying that, like, in terms of the numbers of inflation actually match the prices and stuff like that. And they did the math, et cetera, and all that stuff. And it is true. The numbers do check out. But here's the thing. Nintendo has pretty much been in the background waiting for the right time to strike. Now, during this time, before they decided to announce the Switch 2 and everything else, they've been paying attention to every single aspect of gaming as a business. If you guys think that Nintendo isn't also a greedy corporation like the rest of them, you're out of your mind. No matter what you may think of Nintendo, no matter what they do right and what they do wrong and the way they do their things or whatnot, no. They're still a greedy corporation at the end of the day, and they're in business to make money. And quite frankly, the games being $80, the reason why they've increased the prices is because they know they can, and they know they can get away with it. Because, again, like I said, they've been paying attention all this time to all the different aspects of gaming. They've been paying attention to multiplayer games. They've been paying attention to microtransaction games, free-to-play games. They've been paying attention to what their competition has been doing in terms of their strengths and weaknesses. All of that has been a part of everything, right? So now, when you're looking at, and again, this is why I decided to post this video here on the Jack of All Trades channel as opposed to Jack's Arcade, right? And that is because forever, for the longest time, right, before XDefiant even became a thing, this channel, I used to cover Call of Duty. And no matter how much I would, express my dissatisfaction with the series about, EOMM and, microtransactions and stuff like that, and the whole battle royale thing and how it's pretty much like ruined what was there in the first place. Well, there's no secret that things like microtransactions, which are also in some cases ridiculously priced, by the way, that have absolutely no value to the game whatsoever when you think about it, right? They're ridiculously priced, yet they sell pretty damn well, and they've been selling well for quite a long time. This is why they're going all over the place. Apparently, they're doing like the whole Ninja Turtles thing now, and then of course you've had the whole Nicki Minaj and all that other stuff in there. And again, it's getting to a point to where, as far as this generation is concerned, things like certain gaming franchises like the ones that come out every year, or ones like, let's say, Mario Kart, for instance, which is, if you think about it, Mario Kart is kind of like Nintendo's Call of Duty, because it comes out, it doesn't, I don't think it comes out every year, but it comes out often and it sells very, very well. As a matter of fact, the only game that outsells it is actually not Call of Duty at all. As a matter of fact, Mario Kart doubles, I repeat, doubles the sales of Call of Duty. There's only one franchise that sells even more than that, and that's Grand Theft Auto. And we all know that Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to sell, and there's word going around that it's going to be worth anywhere from like $100 to $120. Ever since I talked to that guy from GameSpot that works there, not GameSpot, is it GameSpot? No, GameStop that works there. He was telling me about that there were words that game was going to cost as much as the rumors have been saying, and it's true. And there's no way that they're not going to take advantage of that, because they know it's going to sell. So get used to that quote. They know it's going to sell. So Nintendo knows that regardless, they're going to sell their $8 games. Now, I know some of you guys might be thinking, well, there's no way that parents, or some of you might be listening to this video that are parents, are saying, there's no way I'm going to pay $80 to get my kid the new Mario Kart. Now, that might be true, and I'm sure you're not lying by saying that in terms of how you feel as well. But here's the thing. Just like the people that have been complaining about Call of Duty, the people that know about EOMM, the people that, et cetera, we're the minority here, just like you guys that are complaining about Mario Kart. Because again, I used to be in the martial arts business back in the day, and I was the main instructor of the school. And year after year, we had something called summer camp, and summer camp was probably twice the price per week from compared to an after school program, right? But it was a necessity, right? So parents dished out the money because they needed it. They had to go to work, and the parents that were the after schoolers, as long as they didn't have anything else going on, they paid the difference in price, and their kids would be at the school all day, right? It was a necessity, so therefore they dished out the money. At this point right now, Mario Kart for the kids and certain things like that are a necessity, kind of like the yearly release of Call of Duty. Regardless of whatever the yearly release of Call of Duty is, it's still going to sell, okay? Even if it is trash, it's still going to sell. I don't care what the player numbers are, after launch or whatever. At the end of the day, it's still going to sell, and they're going to promote the shit out of it. And Nintendo is going to do the exact same thing. Mario Kart is still going to continue to sell despite the fact that it's going to be $80, right? It's one of the reasons why I think, and again, I'm not trying to justify Nintendo's pricing by any means, but I think one of the reasons why, it's Mario Kart World now, and you can do so many more things as opposed to before, is, again, I think they want to turn it into that something more, right? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo was all of a sudden going to do the whole microtransaction and stuff like that thing in order to boost Mario Kart or whatnot. But I'm sure they're going to do it in their own way or whatnot. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. We all know that Jim Ryan and Sony basically was trying to get into that market even more, and was interested in things like microtransactions and free-to-play games that were loaded with them, because he saw the billions in revenue that Activision would make every quarter, and he wanted to transport that to Sony. So he didn't care as much about the whole single player experience anymore, like the old-fashioned way, unless it was like one of the very, very, very few titles. But despite all that, he still wanted to take advantage of that, right? He wanted to have his cake and eat it too, or whatnot. So again, these are greedy corporations whose job is to make money. And remember, over the course of history, we've seen that games and corporations and companies of the past aren't necessarily the same anymore. And it's all because of the direction that gaming is heading. And unfortunately, this is the direction that gaming is heading. Again, I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying I like it. I'm simply saying that this is what it is. So in my mind, right, in terms of where I stand and what my opinion is, as well as my personal preferences when it comes to games, I mean, in comparison to what gaming was, I mean, gaming is pretty much fucked now in comparison to what it was, in my mind, in terms of its quality and everything else like that. If you think Nintendo isn't going to start taking advantage of the things that the other guys have been doing, I would love to be able to live in the world to where that wasn't the case. But trust me, again, these guys are in business to make money. And there was one point in time where I believed that Nintendo was going to kind of, keep the best players, their players, their main people's interests at heart. But their best interests at heart. But that's that would be me making the mistake yet again for like the billionth time in terms of, you know, having faith in a previous company that, you know, managed to go south. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, in my opinion. And again, I don't want to sound doom and gloom. I hate it. You know, I hate sounding doom and gloom. I'd rather be optimistic. But to be honest, I would be. I'm not going to do that because it's not how I feel. And you're going to get the true blue feelings out of me. So how I feel is that it's going to be its own version. It's going to be Nintendo's own version and take of what a lot of other games are doing out there today. And again, they're generating money. And even with Call of Duty, right? When you're looking at Call of Duty was making a shit ton of money every single year before they started implementing the whole battle royale and microtransactions and all that other shit and battle passes. But they've been making even more, significantly more, ever since they started implementing it. And, you know, Sony, Microsoft, obviously, you know, they own Call of Duty now, but Sony and Nintendo, they want a piece of that too. And the thing is, Nintendo's always been moving to the beat of their own drum, but but at the same time, if they see that gaming is heading in a certain direction, you know, they're not going to completely like ignore that. And they've been watching for a long time. Okay, so they've been taking notes, and I think right now they chose that in their mind their time to strike is now, and they were the first ones to increase their prices to $80. And of course, they're going to also probably justify increase the price of $80, not just because of inflation, but also the fact that you can take all these games with you on the go if you want to, which is what one of the strengths of the Nintendo Switch is, and the Switch 2, of course, as well, is that you can take all these games and play them at this fidelity, but you can take them with you or whatnot on the go, which to a lot of people does actually make a difference. It doesn't make a difference to someone like me, but to a lot of people out there, it does. And again, when it comes to kids, again, the parents will, there's a significant amount of people that will dish out the money. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish we could, quote unquote, vote with our wallets or whatnot, but that never works because it didn't work with Call of Duty. It hasn't made a difference in Call of Duty, and I don't think it's going to make a difference here. So with that being said, guys, again, I didn't mean to be a negative Nancy, but that's just my opinion, and I hope I'm wrong. So with that being said, I want to know in the comment section down below what you guys think. And as always, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to watch and or listen. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.